I do have a sponsor in today's video, but more on that shortly. Did you know there are 15 unique ways that you can get a game over in Baldur's Gate 3 that don't actually involve your typical TPK and combat? Well, now you do. Let's begin. Number 1. Making out with a squid. Very early on in Act 1, in the Nautiloid Crash Zone area, there lies a manipulative, injured, rather sexy if you're into that, Mind Flayer. When you walk up to this thing and decide to have a chat, regardless of your first dialogue choice, you'll end up being presented with the option to do an intelligence check to concentrate on its thoughts. Now, the funny thing about this skill check is that failing is actually a good thing, because if you succeed, you then get presented with the ever so alluring option to lean in for a kiss. Now, if you've not recruited any party members yet, which is quite possible at this part of the game, this is game over.
What did you slip me? My heart is racing and I'm getting dizzy.
Wet tentacles wrap themselves around your head, and for the first time in your life,
Will I wake up in your bed and
perfectly
regret
happy.
everything I did? Like a hangover, but leave me needing one more fix. She said, shut your mouth and kiss me.
Squid sucker.
Now, you can choose to not kiss the squid, but this requires you to pass a wisdom check. And if you do have party members with you, well, they get a chance to fight a level 5 Mind Flayer with 55 HP. Number 2.
Show me what it's like to be circling among the clouds. Because without you by my side, I would be stuck here on the ground.
Yeah, don't jump into dark holes when chained to the rest of your party members without having Featherfall active, even if the jump is not showing the death text. Before we get into the next one, let's talk about today's video sponsor, New World Aeternum, which is coming out on October 15th on Steam, PS5, and Xbox Series S and X. Crossplay is a thing. And do note that if you pre-order, I'll leave a link down below, you'll get access to the Azoth Stalker Wolf mount, which we're going to see here shortly in this trailer that I'm watching with you all.
This impossible island hiding in the dark of distance.
Love the lighting, love the sound effects, love the mood that this trailer is setting.
Destiny is not determined by
And there's the Azoth Stalker Wolf mount. Now, this is an action RPG set on the supernatural island of Aeternum, where of course you're going to be forging your own destiny, and this player character appears to be doing so in a gladiator arena, which is really cool. In some PvP content, but do note that you can also play PvE content. You don't have to engage in PvP if you're not interested in that. You can kind of play the game the way that you want to. And you can see this group of players here taking on this really cool construct looking boss right here. But on that note, you also can play solo. You don't have to play with other people if you don't want to. Love the contrast in environments, the corrupted beach to the gladiator arena to the lush, vibrant forests. That's really what I look for when I play any sort of RPG. It's nice environments and good exploration.
with eternity.
And there you have it, folks. New World Aeternum. Pre-order now to get the Azoth Stalker Wolf mount. It's coming out on Steam, PS5, and Xbox Series S and X. I'll leave a link below. More content coming soon. Number 3. After you recruit Mr. Liability, should he die for any reason, the In Case of Death quest will begin. Now, you of course can resurrect Gale with a scroll, or you can play his little magical skin flute game, or you can run away, which is understandable as he is leaking a foul green odor, not to mention some folks just don't like Gale. He's one of my favorites. Well, if you do leave him there lying dead, and you choose to long rest 3 times without having resurrected him, the Netherese orb in Gale's chest goes kaboom. Number 4. Now we enter into the gilf's lair and down a few steps to where we'll find some whispering masks. Putting on the whispering eyes will force your characters to do passive wisdom saves to attempt to avoid the hag's complete control over your body. I mean, that doesn't sound too bad now, does it? But unfortunately, in this case, this can actually cause an instant game over if you don't have party members with you.
Suddenly she is there, beside you, behind you, inside you.
I have you now, Petter. Don't worry. Auntie is going to take good care of you.
Or if your entire party puts on the masks and everyone fails their own wisdom saves. Even if a few party members don't put the masks on though, the ones that do and fail, you lose control over them and they become hostile, and this can very easily lead to a game over as well. Number 5. Welcome to the Githyanki Creche, home to the children of William Defoe. Deep in the creche, when you make it to Gaz, the gentleman in charge of the search for the artifact, you actually end up speaking to Queen Valakith herself. That wrinkly old lady who reminds you of your nasty aunt.
I'm not gonna argue with somebody so goddamn stupid as you are. I'm not gonna argue with your ass.
If you decide to rat Shadowheart out for stealing the artifact, or if you decide to taunt Vlakith by questioning her goddess abilities and power, well, she does goddess things to you and casts the most powerful spell in D&D, Wish, and she wishes you dead.
Blaspheming tongue! You wish to see godhood! I wish you to end!
I'm not gonna argue with somebody so goddamn stupid as you are.
This is game over, regardless of how many you have in your party. Number 6, and this one isn't due to a particular character or a nasty aunt. This one is due to you being too out of shape and being too stupid to solve a puzzle. Deep within the monastery, in a side room from where you spoke with Vlakith, there is a secret staircase, which leads to a secret mace. If you take the mace without inserting the Dawnmaster's crest, which you get by solving a puzzle earlier on in the monastery, or you can actually lockpick it, but the place becomes a ticking time bomb, which can easily lead to a game over if you don't take out the solar machines quickly enough, which is not easy, or if you don't get far enough away from the monastery with at least one party member, which, without highly mobile characters or teleportation spells, can actually be quite the task. Welcome to the game over screen. Number 7. The Deep Gnome PH Ilomeen, who can be found on the top shelf of Grimforge, also offers a quick way to the game over screen. When you speak with PH Ilomeen, you can find Philomene. Some of you guys in the comments are probably already correcting me because you're that fucking stupid. You can find out quickly that she is not playing around and is ready to blow the entire room up, including herself. Now, if you tell her that you don't care,
Then let it be done. Gerdel Ironhand, hear me now! Set me free!
well, that happens. If you attack her,
Do it then! Make it hurt!
yep, that happens. Or if you fail one of the checks to try to convince her that you are not a true soul who's there to take her to Moonrise Towers,
I'm gonna blow and you're getting chummy! Drug off, prick slit!
once again. Now, if you left some party members outside of that room, you can avoid that game over screen, but a lot of people on their first run probably don't think of that. Number 8, if you have Gilly Gale in your party, you will likely run into the famed wizard Elminster.
Elminster?
Either in the Mountain Pass or in the Underdark. Now, after this meeting takes place where Elminster basically tells Gale he has to be a suicide bomber to stop the Absolute, Gale is given the Netherese Orb action on the hotbar. Click it, and this happens. It's honestly hard to not click it. And for number 9 and 10, you'll only get game over if you don't have any party members in your group, which most people probably will, so I saved these two for the last section for these Act 1 game overs, so feel free to skip ahead if that doesn't, apply to you, or if you don't care. So number 9, if you kept the wrinkly alien around, eventually one night at camp early in Act 1, she will assault you by holding a knife to your neck. It's actually a rather honorable scene from a Githyanki's perspective. But if you do select surrender to Lae'zel, you'll find out quickly that she means business, as you will be dead.
Let it be so. Vlakith Gorg Shkathzai.
In number 10, on a similar topic, you can also get a game over if you indulge your vampiric fantasies by letting Astarion suck you off. Suck your blood. When Astarion inevitably decides to bite your neck after you take a long rest, you will be presented with the options to let the scene play out and go deeper down this rabbit hole of giving in to the sexy vampire boy. But if you give in too much for too long, or if you push your luck and try to succeed in some skill checks to get him to stop when you've had enough, and note that these skill checks become increasingly more difficult, it's game over if you don't have any party members.
You feel a little cold, but that's all. There's no more pain, no more fear, no more struggle. It's all over.
Moving into Act 2 with number 11 here. Welcome back, Mr. Liability. And at the end of Act 2, or very close to the end, and spoilers beware, Larian tempts players who have Gale in their party with that Netherese orb once again, but I'd say it hits a little differently this time, as this is a dialogue cutscene, and considering that you're now within a football field of the actual Netherbrain, aka the Absolute, maybe this is your only chance to save the world. Well, if you do let Gale do this is what happens.
One last gust of weave. One last gale to end them all.
No!
Beneath the smoking ashes of Moonrise Towers, the Elder Brain lies destroyed. But what of the tadpoles it commanded? Freed of the Absolute's control, they will complete their transformations. A plague of illithids will soon descend on the Sword Coast, enslaving all they do not infect. It is an ending of sorts, though not the one destiny had in store for you.
So not actually a game over, like the game over that we've been using for this video, as you technically beat the game, I guess, in a way here, but it's not exactly the happiest or most satisfying of endings, not to mention you miss out on an entire act of content, so most do treat it like a game over and load back in. Number 12, and the final one that I know of for Act 2. This one is caused by not listening and clicking too many times. Post Tonight Song, if you attempt to go back to the Mountain Pass or the Underdark, the Guardian will speak to you, telling you that it's not a good idea to do this.
We don't have time to waste.
But honestly, I can understand why some players might not trust the Guardian, though. Well, if you click on the Mountain Pass entrance again after that...
We're yet to uncover the secret of the Absolute. You must return to Moonrise Towers while Ketheric is weak.
How about one more time?
You would have done better to heed my warning. I thought you trusted me. I was wrong. And it will cost us everything.
Your stomach drops. Your chest constricts. Your thoughts begin to splinter.
You are found. Now you hear me. Now you yield!
It's actually really funny that Larian even allows you to do this, and it just shows how committed they are to player agency and multiple outcomes. Number 13 is going to bring us into Act 3, and this one is for all of you kinky bastards out there. Deep in Raphael's House of Hope is a Harlep, Raphael's personal sex incubus. This incubus basically asks you to play a game, and if you refuse, this will lead to combat. Or you can play the game, which requires you to get naked. If you make it to this list of dialogue options, which can be done by simply just going along with what the Harlep says, this particular option right here, to surrender your heart and soul,
The incubus laps up every part of your soul. Your mind is lost once and for all.
well, it does exactly that. Number 14 on this list does actually involve combat, but it's unique in that it's not your party that's wiping here that causes the game over. It's actually you killing Daddy Squid Cakes. When you encounter the Emperor at the start of Act 3, you'll have your first opportunity to actually fully attack the Emperor with your entire party, and this can certainly be tempting for many players. This guy's weird. I mean, I banged it once or twice, but that doesn't mean I want it to stick around for banana pancakes. Since the Emperor is the one shielding you from the Absolute's influence, if he dies, which can also happen by the Githyanki in that battle, well, the Absolute will get its opportunity to take over, and it turns you all into its thralls. Game over.
Between pity and disappointment, the Emperor's final gaze cuts through you, signaling your joint downfall.
You have failed us.
Maybe it's not a good idea to kill him. Well, we're gonna find out at least.
Your stomach drops, your chest constricts. Your
What's
thoughts
going
begin
on?
to splinter.
You are found. Now you hear me. Now you yield.
Oh my god. Please let me keep playing. And number 15 is one that I'm guessing many probably actually don't know about. Maybe even this late, a year plus after the release of the game, as this can only happen if you play as Will as an origin character. And I don't have a save file to show you this. I was made aware of this by someone on my Discord server, and you're just looking at regular Will right here, not origin character Will. But if you kill Mizora, who is being held underneath Moonrise Towers, this will result in a game over for Will players. Will is in a pact with Mizora, who basically owns his soul, so this does make sense for Will's story, but this can be really devastating if you're playing Will as an origin character on your honor mode run, because I think it's game over even if you have a full party. It's just over. Speaking of over, have a good one. Thanks for watching.